night unforgettable. Oh, oh. Making memories we won't recall. One more song is never enough. We ain't gonna stop when the sun comes up. Put the night on replay, 'cause we never wanna lose this rush. Oh no. Shame on me, I'm a fool for the melody. I don't wanna stop right now. All I need is a drum with a heavy beat. Hit me with that future sound. It's time to let go. We're not going home. This feeling I can't live without. So shame on me, I'm a fool for the melody. This is our party, and this is where the beat goes. This is where the beat goes. This is where the beat goes. This is where the beat goes.
You hold me close, tell me that you can read my mind. How do you get to know how I feel inside? 'Cause I didn't take you there. Oh baby, get out my head, get out my head. Take me away, take me away. Don't wanna see it fade out. Take me away, take me away. Don't wanna
stop beating like you used to. Used to be so numb, but now I'm next to you. You got me feeling some type of way. Hey. Was never alone, but always felt so lonely. Was surrounded by, but I was so lonely. But when I met you, my heart turned from stone to gold. And when I'm with you, this feeling I can't control. I never wanna lose this feeling. I'd do anything tonight to lose you. Can't do anything, can't do anything. Baby, I'd do anything for you. Do anything
What's up, guys? Good to see you, Inner Circle family. How's it going, John and Lee? What's up, Darlene? Ava, Alexis, she always brings so much energy. Love the colors behind you. Always playing full out. What's going on, guys? Hey, Clint, what's going on? Jules and Athena Pamela. What's up, Inner Circle family? All right. All right, what's up, Inner Circle? So first off, those of you that I see the chat, what's up? Happy Friday. I know some days we have it on Thursdays, some days on Tuesdays each month, but it's when we can fit it in, and it's when I feel inspired to share with you guys. So first off, for those of you that are new to the Inner Circle / Mastermind, right? I'm going to give you a little history. Inner Circle has been around for, I think, heading towards a decade. And we launched it then, 8-9 years ago, at $100, $97 a month to be a part just of the Inner Circle, because I thought, let me create something where every month I can give my greatest breakthrough, my greatest thoughts in mindset, marketing, and momentum, the three things I think are absolutely crucial to our success in all areas of life. And it's been an absolute hit ever since. But then we decided, why not make this a part of mastermind.com, which all of you, if you're here, you're a part of mastermind.com. And we decided in recent years, and especially in recent months, to take and make Mastermind such a utility in your life, where each month I go live as part of Mastermind, which is half of what we used to charge just for Inner Circle, right? So you have mastermind.com, I go live every month. If you don't know, inside Mastermind, these monthlies are archived and they're labeled. I think it goes back 4 years. So if you're ever feeling something, you want more training on marketing, or you want to overcome an obstacle. There's so many monthly trainings that are priceless that you have access to. So just remember that. Take a note. They're right there. You have to do nothing except log in and find one that hits your soul. If I was you, I'd plan one a week for the rest of the year so we can really kick ass in 2023 and be prepared. And find, we always talk about the gap. What gaps do you have in your life? Go find an Inner Circle that can help fill that gap. Does that make sense? And also, just as a reminder, as part of this family, we put Trent Shelton's course in. Every month, we're going to be adding a brand new course. We got Brendan Bouchard's course coming next. We got a course from Tony Robbins coming next. So remember, the resources are at your fingertips. And I promise we are going to be giving you a guide. The team's working on it. As a family member here, you're going to get an email every month with a PDF of all the things happening every month just because you're a part of this family. Cool? We want to make it really simple for you to utilize these tools. Listen, we know we're in crazy times, and we know that I believe 2023 is going to get crazier, and our brains can focus on obstacles. Our brains can focus on what's been taken away. Our brains can focus on what's wrong. Our brains can focus on what's right and what opportunities are created. It all depends on not only your state of mind, but the capabilities you have. And that's why we are ramping up this family with so much more. We are not increasing the price. We're not changing anything except delivering more. You guys cool with that? And plus, you're all grandfathered in, so it's good to have you here. So today, we're going to talk, as I said, if you're new, this is like a family to me. I feel like sometimes I'm different people to different groups. Not really, I just feel really relaxed being a part of the Inner Circle, because some of you have been with me for 8 years. Some of you are new, but you'll see it becomes a great family. And I always share stuff here that I don't share anyplace else and things like that. Like I shared, every month will be about marketing, or mindset, or momentum. Because if we don't have the right mindset, we don't do anything. We feel like imposters and we kind of sit on our hands. If we don't know marketing, we can't take our lives. We can't influence people. We can't persuade people. We can't get people to say yes, right? So we got to have marketing. And then once you have those two, then we need the strategies to keep it going, the momentum, right? So today is going to be marketing. Now, when I say marketing and I teach marketing, in my world, I break marketing into two pieces, kind of the science and the art. And the art is what allowed me to be successful for the last 30 years of being self-employed. The art is the messaging. The art is living inside the mind of your prospect, living inside the mind of your client, finishing their sentences, delivering what they want and what they need. And when you master the art you have a gift that works in every area of your life. And today, I want to really anchor in a strategy of marketing, because if you think of marketing, we could think of marketing as marketing. We could think of it as influence. We could think of it as persuasion. I wrote down a couple of these things. It affects all areas of our lives, right? And like I said, whether that's family or your career or your business or the self-education industry, your first sale, your 50th sale, your first $5,000, your first 5 million, these are the skills, in my opinion. It's the oxygen. Nothing works in life without persuasion. Nothing works without getting someone to say yes. If that's your family member, if that's your coworkers, if that's for your career, if that's for your business, if that's for your launch, if we don't get people to go, I'm in, and say yes, then nothing moves. So oxygen, marketing and sales is the oxygen for every successful company that exists. So I always want to get you in the right mindset. That's why we have all three. But today, I want to go deep on the art of marketing, if that's cool with you, especially going into a shifting world. We good with that today? You guys ready? And I'd love for you guys to be super interactive today. I'm going to shout out, I'm going to reach out and just randomly pick some people today. And let's do a little marketing work together if that works. So who'd like to get picked today? Raise your hand if you'd like to share something. All right, great. Okay. But first, I want to tell you a personal story. I always tell more of a personal story in this group for some reason than most. And this one's going to be really personal. I see you, Nancy Rizzo. What's going on? First and foremost, most of you know, but I got to pull this up. This was day 2. Could you pull this picture up? This is my brand new baby girl, Vita Graziosi. She is a week and a couple of days old. That was when she was 2 days old. And I am such a proud papa. It is, and thank God, yeah, thank you for the music. Thank God we all have baby amnesia. That is the greatest quote in the history of the world, because the first 2 weeks of a baby, even if you're blessed to have help, oh my God, and supporting my wife, you totally forget what those first 2 weeks are like when you get about 15 minutes of sleep and the whole process starts over again, but worth every bit of it. The cool part, just like a business, when you can future pace and see where the end result is, you know it's worth it. I mean, think about that. You could take that picture down, even though she's cute as hell. Think about that, right? Going through poopy diapers, and my poor wife, I'm not going to compare that both my wife and I have the same job. What women go through and what women can handle, thank God you're a blessing from heaven, because if men had to reproduce, there would be no more children, because we stub our toe or get a splinter and we complain for 5 days. Am I right, Beverly? Right? And you women could just handle it. So my wife is she had the baby and she's breastfeeding, she's up, she's doing the majority of the work, and still it's crazy. But it's like a business. So just think about that. It's like marketing. It's like anything. When you start new, it seems crazy and chaotic and but when you think about having a child where your heart beats outside of your body forever, like, it's all worth everything we're doing now for the outcome and the love. And that's the way I feel about business. And I hope you guys get a glimpse of that as well. When you love what you do, when you fall in love with your clients, when you fall in love with better outcomes, when you fall in love with growth, when you fall in love with contribution, it's like a baby. When you start something new, or you alter or shift or start something and it feels small, right? You're successful here. Maybe you're starting something new. It's like shitty starting small. It's like having another baby. It's not easy in the beginning, but it's worth every bit of it. We have to nurture. We have to learn, we have to grow, we have to adjust our patterns, maybe adjust our sleep, wake up a little earlier. But would anybody give it back? I would do anything it takes for this child. And when we feel that way about our success, we realize we got to go through the baby. We got to go through the toddler stage. We got to go through the terrible 2s and 4 years old and 7. Our businesses are the same way. And the way I look at it is, you would never have a baby for 6 months and go, it's a lot of work, I'm done. Is there somebody who would take this kid, like, it's just still too much work, right? But sometimes we do that with our dreams, don't we? Sometimes we're 3 months in, 6 months in. Coach Andre, I see you shaking your head a little bit. Sarah doing her hair, looking great. I see, right? Don't we do that with our businesses and our lives sometimes? We're 6 months in and go, I'm kind of busy. This is a little more work than I thought. Let me just park it on hold. And then 5 years goes by like that, and you just settle for where you were. You'd never give up on a child. So that's why I love what I do. I want you guys to love what you do. But my business is you guys being a part of this family. You're my children. I know that might sound extreme, but that's the way I feel. My business is my child. I can't let it starve. I have to make it grow. I have to nurture. I have to learn. I have to adjust. I might have to adjust my patterns. I might have to adjust what I start saying no to. Because when you say yes to so many things, you're saying no to your bigger future. I might have to say yes to learning a new skill to be a dad. I might have to say yes to mastering marketing and make marketing a part of my life, to think through a different lens. I look through a lens, I see things, and it becomes marketing in my head forever. I want to give you this is a real personal story. And if my son knew I was going to share this today, he would lose his mind. So I'm glad this is only for our mastermind family. So the strategy, and so many of you have learned this from me, hook, story, close. We're going to talk about that today in a different light. We're going to talk about it in the light of a shifting world, a shifting economy, shifting mindsets. But I have developed over the years, I named hook, story, close. It wasn't something I named and then I did. I went back and looked. When I launched my first $100,000 a year mastermind, I said, man, if someone's going to pay me $100,000, I had a client here last Tuesday who paid me $100,000 for 4 one-hour phone calls. I feel blessed. And the last one, I said, why don't you come in? He was so ecstatic. He flew in. We spent an hour together. He's like, can I get 20 more sessions? I'm like, no. You got enough. You go. I feel entirely blessed. It took me a long time to get to that place. But if I'm going to charge somebody $25,000 an hour or $250,000 for a day of consulting, which I get, which I feel beyond blessed, or have a $100,000 a year mastermind, I better be bringing my game. Is that a true story or what? Like that's a different group. And please understand, it's all relevant. That sounds like a lot. But the gentleman who paid me $250 did $62 million last year. And what I shared with him is helping him get to $100 million. See how it's all relevant, right? It's all relevant if someone's... But I better be on my game. And the only reason, and again, I'm giving a behind context here. When I just say hook, story, close, what does that mean? I went back. When I decided I was going to take on some clients and people were going to pay me that much, I better understand what the hell I'm doing, right? Just what we teach. If you're a part of the self-education issue, I better understand it. So I went back, this is about 10 years ago, and I watched all my best videos of all time. I looked at all my best emails. I looked at everything that converted where people raised their hand and like, hell yes. And that's where I came up with this formula, like, oh, there was a really strong hook. And the hook to me is like the stop sign. Like you read, who was ever scrolling really fast and you read something and you're like, you stop, you're like, I gotta read this, right? Right? That to me is a hook, whether that's a first sentence out of someone's mouth, whether that's a subject line in an email or the first sentence in an email, whether it's a landing page. What is the thing that makes you go, oh, I got to stop and read this? So I realized my best videos, my best pages, my best emails had something that was so intriguing that they had to stop. And we're going to go through that a little bit. And that intriguing thing is really just entering where people are, right? We're going to talk about their pain, their pleasure. The second part was the story. Then I realized, oh, once I stopped them, then I had an intriguing story to get them to stay and listen. And that story had its own ingredients in it. And then there was a call to action, the close, right? Then it's like, what do I want them to do? Do I want them to watch my podcast, buy my course, go to my restaurant, right? So when you think about that, you think about that through the lens of marketing. But what if it was a part of all areas of your life that you want to make an impact, that you want to have influence, that you want to persuade? I'm going to share a story that again, is really personal. My son would kill me on this, like truly kill me. So my son is 13, going to be 14. Anybody ever see the statistic that in today's world, because it's so accessible, that 80% of all 12-year-olds have watched porn? Did you ever see that? Google it. Freak you out. 80%. It's so accessible. And some of it could be, you know, like they're searching mountaintops in school and something comes up on their phone. They're like, what's that? Ah, right? So I'm like, I really, whether you agree with my parenting style or not, I am completely open with my kids since they were really little. I talk about everything with them. And I feel beyond blessed. Their values and the decisions they make, I am shocked every day. I mean it. My daughter didn't make her bed this morning, and she left the food that she took up last night as her snack. She left it on her bed. She left it on the thing next to her bed, and her bed's not made, and her dirty clothes are on the floor. So I'm surely not saying my children are perfect, but I am beyond impressed with the decisions they've made. My daughter being in 10th grade, going to get her driver's license. My son going to be 14. So why am I sharing this personal story about kids watching porn? Because I use the hook, story, close. So when you think about, is this just for business? Is it for influence, impact, persuasion? I want to tell you the hook, story, close that I've shared with my son. And my hook with my son, and I've been talking about access to porn, drugs, all those things with my kids for way longer than probably most parents. And we get to talk about the stuff my kids share with me. Sometimes I'm like a deer in headlights because they're so open and I can't believe some of the shit that's going on. Maybe when I was 15 and 13 I did that. I just don't remember. They seem so little. They're my babies. I can't believe some of that stuff is going on, right? But anyway, my kids share everything with me, and sometimes I am shocked. But let me tell you the hook, story, close I used with my son. I said, my son's like, as Tony would call a love bug. He's just so affectionate. This is the boy that if we see a homeless person on the other side of the street, I got to go make a U-turn. And God forbid we see someone homeless and I don't have cash in my pocket. Talk about my son making me feel like, who carries cash in today's world, right? If I don't have cash, he's like, why don't you have cash? Dad, that family needs it, right? So that's my son. So I know my son someday wants real love in his life. I feel that. He doesn't want to be a playboy. He doesn't want to go out. He says all the time, he wants one woman. He wants to fall in love. He wants to have 5 kids. Like, it's beautiful the way he talks. So my hook for him was, hey, listen, I get it. You're 13, 14. I know a lot of your buddies have seen porn and watching porn. It's probably getting harder for you, I'm guessing. He's like, yeah, Dad, it is. I said, have you seen much yet? Like, not like, have you? He's like, no, I really haven't. I've found a way out of it. And I said, well, I just want to tell you something. Here's my hook. I said, you really want to be in love someday, don't you? I said, you know one of the biggest negative byproducts of porn is, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad, is that it takes away the intimacy, the passion of innocent love. Like falling in love with someone. I said, you could watch stuff that's so much more advanced than you that it could take away the innocence of falling in love and holding hands. I said, you really want to be in love, don't you, someday? He said, yeah, I do. That was my hook. So he's listening. He's 13, 14. He barely wants to listen, right? But then my story was, to be relevant of where he was, I said, hey, did you see that story of Billie Eilish? Billie Eilish is a young girl singer, lots of famous songs, right? I just know, but I read this story on her. Billie Eilish, I said, Billie Eilish, this is my story, right? Just the scene. I said, Billie Eilish came out recently and said that she wishes she didn't ever watch porn. She started watching it when she was 12 years old, bud. And because she watched it, she can't find herself in a real relationship because she looks at everything through the lens of sex, not the lens of love. He's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, Google it. You can find it yourself. You don't have to believe me. So I said, that was my story. I had his attention. I had the hook. He wanted love in his life. I had the story. And the close was, here's the thing. I know it might be hard. You might have buddies that want to show you. I said, come up with any kind of lame-ass excuse. Call me. Say you're sick. Walk out the door. So this was about, I'd say, 9 months ago. And we've had these conversations a lot through life. Well, I'm telling you this because, again, my son would kill me if he knew I was sharing this. I just want to show you the power of this. Because I did it through love. I did it because I care. And we should do that with all of our products and services, right? I'm not exaggerating one bit. My son went over a kid's house. And we just don't do sleepovers in our family. We never did. A lot of crazy stuff happens at sleepovers. I don't know about you guys. Sleepovers, not so much. No bueno. But he's 14 years old. He's going to be 14 next month. I'm like, in the last 6 months, I'm like, hey, if you want to. He goes over a sleepover. A whole bunch of kids come over. What do you know? They sneak into theater room of this family's house, and at like 1 o'clock in the morning, the kid puts porn on the screen. My son literally calls me and says, Dad, I'm going to say I'm sick. Can you come get me? And he made that decision based on the Hook story closed. In the middle of the night, I went and got my boy, and he pretended he was sick, and he came home, and he made that decision. What I screamed at him if he did, he was in a hard situation. And I said, my son's short like I was. I said, you might be the shortest one of the bunch, but you're 10 feet taller than me, brother, because that's a freaking leader. And he's not, he's not a wimpy, like he's popular. So my only point is, why did I share that? That's a really personal thing. Sometimes even hard to talk about. Maybe I shouldn't share those kind of things, but Inner Circle, you're like my family. I shared that with you because this is a part of how I think. When I want to influence somebody, I know I have to, who in here has ever had a 14-year-old boy? You talk about, I heard something that's like it's like you can't tie him down. Talk about ADD on steroids. Right? They don't want to listen to their dad or the story you had, or Dad's talking about porn. Oh my God. Right? Like, it is the hardest thing in the world. If I would have just said, don't watch porn, it's not good, God wouldn't like it. Like, that just doesn't work. I used what I'm going to share with you that we use in our marketing. I used a hook. I know the kid wants to be in love. I used the story of Billie Eilish that he understands, listen to the music. And I gave him a call to action, and man, like clockwork, it worked. Right? Now, could he go another 3 years without? I don't know. What do we really want to do with our children? I just want to hold off their innocence as long as I can. That's really it. It's not going to last forever, but it's going to last as long as I hope it can, right? So I share that story with this Inner Circle family to say, when you love your product or you love the career you're in, when you fall in love with it like that, like a baby that I showed you before, we have to nurture it, we have to learn. Secondly, when you fall in love with your client, you fall in love with your product, then you'll realize that we must master the art of marketing, because that's the only way we get to impact their lives. If I didn't do that with my son over these years, maybe he would have taken a different route. And maybe it would have affected him like it did Billie Eilish and many other people. And maybe he wouldn't have the passion, the connected, innocent relationship he wants to have. I don't know, but I know it's important to me, so I learned this. Does that make sense to you guys? And I don't want to overcomplicate sales, but I don't want to make it more complicated than it is. Sometimes we have to treat sales as like, I care about my product, I care about the person I'm going to sell it to. What is the conversation to get them to say yes? Got that? So, when it comes to the hook story close, first off, are we having different conversations today at our dinner table than you had just 6 months ago? Who's having different conversations? Inflation, interest rates going up, recession coming, your 401k looks like shit. Are we really going into a badass, like a really bad recession in 2023? Should I actually buy a house now? Maybe it's a dumb decision. Should I actually sell my house now? Maybe it won't sell. Should I invest in the stock market? What if it crashes even more? Oh my God, should I pull my money out of the stock market in case it goes down really? Like, am I agreeing that we're having those different conversations, right? So a hook to me is we have to enter conversations going on in people's minds right now, right? So I gave you the lens of something so insanely personal. I know the conversations going on in my son's head now. He's 14. He's got hormones racing. He's got friends doing peer pressure. Is it a different conversation with my son today than when he was 11? Who's ever had an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old, the same child, right? Are they like two completely different humans, Abby? Right? Like, an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old, they don't even know each other, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So I can't have the same conversation with Brody now than I did when he was 11. I have to. It's the same way with the impact you want to make, where you want to take your business, your future clients, the company that you have. You must enter conversations going on in their mind right now. What is a hook? A hook is basically something that is intriguing him at this very moment. And a hook comes from either, and you should write this down, moving away from something painful or moving towards something pleasurable. right? So a hook is a part of, it could be a headline, a subject line in an email, the first sentence you say. Just don't overthink it. It could be the start of a webinar, the start of a YouTube video, the start of an email you're going to send. It could be anything like that, okay? But really what we want to do is get right to the point of intrigue, of a stop sign. A lot of times in the self-education industry, which the majority of you are in or on your way in the self-education industry, usually our client is us of a few years ago, right? So if it's us of a few years ago, what was the thing on your mind that you were trying to move away from? What is the thing that was on your mind that you're trying to move towards? Enter that conversation now. Don't forget it. Obsess on it. Find Facebook groups that have similar people in your world and see what their dreams are, see what their goals are, see what their fears are. So coming up with a hook, if you think about it, right, as we go along in marketing, right? As a matter of fact, Mike, can you pull up a link? Can you pull up that first link, the order page ebook? I don't know if you can pull that up. Scroll, let's see. Scroll, that's not it. That's not, oh yeah, all the way to the top. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, there we go. Can you pull this up? So the team took pages that I have written before. Oh my God, scroll. Can you scroll down the other way more? Oh my God, that thing just flipping is so annoying. All right, no, keep going back up. We got to leave it there. And talk about squirrel, talk about ADD of like, I can't have something flipping in front of me. Keep going so I can see the headline. Okay, so read this. Your most valuable asset is already living inside your head rent-free. So the team took trainings that I've done and created an ebook based on trainings I did. And an ebook is part of a value ladder, right? This was something we want to give away. I think the team gave, I don't even know if this is launched yet, but it's like a free ebook that we created, right? And we want to get more people intrigued. Remember, who remembers a value ladder? Raise your hand if you remember a value ladder. It just means a product or a service that you can give that's a value add to build reciprocity. So if they like it, they'll use more of your stuff, right? If you're a coach on marriage, keeping your marriage safe, you want to someday maybe create a free ebook on the 7 steps to a loving, intimate, passionate marriage, right? If you want to stop your kids from watching porn, you might create a free ebook that says, hey, the 7 steps to making sure your kids don't fall into the 80% that watch porn, before they're mature enough to understand it, right? An ebook sometimes is just value in advance. Make sense? Right? So we tested about 10 different headlines, hooks. This one was, your most valuable asset is already living inside your head rent-free. But how do you extract that asset, package it, and sell it to people all around the world, even if no one has ever heard of you? Who's a little bit intrigued by that one? You'd like to know how do you unlock it, right? You're all here. You could take that down. I can't handle the flipping pages. Literally, my ADD is going to explode. You can just take it off. Okay. When it's time, Darlene, you're laughing at me. It's like, squirrel, I'm going to just sit here and stare at the flipping pages. I can't help you anymore, everybody. When we think of a hook, I want to tell you the importance of it to me. Now, I've shared this in Project Next. I've shared this in other trainings, but I really want you to hear me today. I consider it one of the most important parts of getting someone to listen to you. No joke. I take my kids, I'm going to talk about my kids, but I'm using kids and going back to business. My kids are 13 and 15, soon to be 16 and 14. If you remember that error, it's hard to, I never thought it would be, but it's harder to communicate with them. They got a lot going on, a lot on their mind. Independence has started. Friendships have deepened. Boys, girls, things like that, right? So literally, every single morning, I drive my kids to school, every day. I make them lunch. We sit at the kitchen counter while I make them lunch. I make them breakfast, and I drive them to school. If there is a really important topic I want to talk with my children, I literally have trained my brain to say, what is the one sentence I could say to my kids so they'll listen to me on the way to school? Because if I'm just like, hey guys, I want to tell you a story about when I was 15. Oh my God, it's like, like zone out. Like, think about that. Remember having that conversation? Like, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to preach you. But if I can come up with a hook that intrigues them, I got their attention and I got 5 or 10 minutes to be able to talk to them on the way to school. It's the same exact thing. When we want to stop someone to listen to our offer, to listen and buy our product or come to our webinar or work with us or get our ebook, we need to say something that aligns with where they are. As a matter of fact, give me in the chat here, tell me what your product or service is, whether, again, majority of you are in coaching courses, training, or on your way, but you could be. Put it in the group, positive coaching. Okay, promo, sales, improved memory. Do me a favor, raise your hand if you'd like to share. Let's see, PR, relationship coaching. Who said relationship coaching? Raise your hand if you're in relationship coaching. Not on this screen. That one went by so quick. Maybe my team can help me. You guys are so awesome on sharing. Financial coaching. That one's going by. So the team, could you look in the group chat and get me either financial coaching, relationship coaching, life coaching, date coaching. Just pick me somebody that in one of those groups. I want you to come up. I want to work with somebody on this, on a hook. You guys cool with that? I love interactive. Single mom coaching. God, so many great. Mindset coaching. Weight loss. Who do we have? All right. Is that Sean? Oh my God, Sean, we're just picking you, brother. How you doing? And we got, oh no, is it Sean or Tanya? You guys, you're freaking me out here. Who is it? All right, Tanya, let's get Sean next. I don't like teasing anybody. All right, everybody, give it up for Tanya. Hey, Tanya, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good to have you here. You are love coaching?
Yes, I'm a feminine energy love and relationship coaching.
I love it. I had a love coach for 1.5 years straight. She helped change my entire life. Do you know who Annie Lala is?
No.
Look her up. She'd be a cool person for you to follow and model. Her career has absolutely exploded. All right, so you're a love coach. Tell me let's work backwards. Tell me a little bit about your story. Maybe a little bit about your story, or what you love to coach, or what you feel your niche is inside love coaching.
Okay. Well, I help successful women who are independent in their careers, and they have used a lot of their masculine energy to get to where they want to go. But so they've been successful in their careers, but no success in their romantic lives. Because they have used all of their masculine energy and they have lost the power of their feminine energy. So I help them go back to their essence, find their feminine, find the power of being vulnerable and just attracting love. I help them actually become feminine magnetic queens. That's my whole thing. So they can attract real gorgeous love into their lives.
I absolutely love it. Can we give it up for Tanya, everybody? Oh my God. Chandra just said, I love this, I need this, love this, brilliant, makes total sense. Tanya, so amazing. And why I love what you just shared is because a love coach could be a lot of things, right? Helping a family stay together through love. A love could be loving your children. Love could be a million things. Loving yourself. Right? I'm sure some of what you teach is finding internal love so you can express it on outer love, right? I'm sure that's some of what they get, what they want and what they need, right? I'm sure there's a lot of show them what they want, give them what they need in your job, right? They probably want a loving relationship and they're not sure why it hasn't worked out for them. You can identify in a moment. They probably want you to know is how do I find love? And in your teaching, I'm guessing you help them love themselves and see a different version of themselves internally, right? But if you said that, hey, come work with me and I'll show you how to love yourself, nobody would click on your link, right? So right? So this is a great example. I want everybody to hear this. And I don't have a certain format. I just want to have a great conversation with some people today and show you how I look through this. Are you currently coaching right now? Do you have clients right now, or are you on your way to doing this?
Yes, I do have a few clients.
Great.
I just started it's a new journey for me.
I love it.
And it's just this course that I took, and it just changed my whole life because I'm divorced, and I realized that, you know, I've been in my masculine for all my life and all my old relationships. And after I took the course, I saw the change. I saw how I changed, and that just became my mission. I said, you know what? Every woman in this world,
I love
needs
it.
to know how to get in touch with their feminine and change their life.
I love it, Tanya. And thanks for being so vulnerable and sharing. And this is a really safe place. This is an awesome family. Annie Lala, find her on Facebook and follow her. She is one of the best in this field.
Okay.
Just to want to know where she evolves to. And I'm going to share this because she's a dear friend and she's doing well. She has no more room for any more clients. That's how busy she is. And she gets $5,000 a month per client.
Wow.
That's where she's evolved to. If you want to know what's possible.
That's inspiring.
You want to know what's possible, because how important is love to some people? Right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is love? It's a 5,000, right? It's a 5,000, and if nothing else has worked, if someone can truly get a breakthrough, you might invest in a stock, but when you invest in yourself and invest in possibly finding love, everything, right, Marco? Right? Look at a 12, it's everything. So here's what I want to share with you. I'm going to give you a little insight to me working with Annie and a love coach for a year and a half. What I discovered is when I went through a divorce, we all have our own thing, right? I went through a divorce. I didn't want to bring the same version of me to my next relationship because I feel like I would have probably repeated exactly what I did. So instead of me saying, hey, I want to find the perfect woman that fits me, it's like, no, let me be the perfect freaking man to attract the kind of woman I want. But that took time with me. I identified it because I'm in this industry and I work on it all the time, but I had to work with someone on a regular basis to uncover, oh, I am shut down a little bit there. Oh, I did put a shell around my heart because my parents were married 9 times and I thought marriage was disposable. When you watch your parents get married and divorced 9 times by the time you're 20, you kind of feel like it's disposable. If it doesn't work, you go get a new one. It's like buying a new car and you hit a pothole. It's like, oh, it's kind of shaking. I'll just go get a new car, right? Like that was deep inside of me. It took time for me to discover that, and I would have paid anything for that. I'm married to the love of my life. Like we're 5 years in, we fall more in love every day. We just had that beautiful baby. All those things. It never would have happened at the level it has, I don't believe, without me having that coach. So if you want to know the power of coaching, in my opinion, guys, priceless, right? It's why I'm in this industry. It's why I love it so much. It's why I love what each and every one of you are doing, no matter what level you're on. And Tanya, thanks for being so transparent. But I only shared that with you, and I shared personally what Annie does, and I hope she doesn't mind. And I shared me going through. You know why I shared that with you? Because some of you need to hear how goddamn valuable you are. Like literally, some of you are afraid to charge. You've been through hell. You're on the other side. You had the experience. You took the training. You're a part of our mastermind. You're going through the work, and what you provide is priceless if you decide it is. And you master your craft, and you go all in, and you don't dabble, and you don't feel like an imposter. Listen, when you went through a divorce, when you were in your masculinity, how valuable would it have been if somebody like you now or Annie came to you and said, hey, hon, I don't think you realize that you're living in your masculinity. And if you keep up with this, you're going to be alone forever. And I'm sorry to say that, but you are. You're going to chase away every man you go with because you need to be this strong, dynamic, masculine woman to do your business. And you bring that shit home and you chase men away. Am I kind of hitting a button?
Yes. I wish I had this information like more than 20 years ago.
Right. And
even before I started dating.
Of course. And no one teaches that stuff, right? No one does. The only reason I know the difference is I read a book every 2 weeks of my life, and sometimes I geek out on relationships and I geek out on femininity and masculinity. So I just understand it only because I'm obsessive on being a learner, right? So that was a lot of conversation. It had nothing to do with the hook, but it kind of had everything to do with the hook, right? Because what is the biggest fear of a woman living in her masculinity? What is the biggest fear of a woman living in her masculinity? What do you think?
That she'll never find love.
Bang. Be alone forever. I would write that down. Would you say the biggest fear is I might be alone forever? What's one of the things that a woman who's powerful, amazing woman, all women are powerful and amazing, but a woman who happens to be successful in business, who's living in her masculinity, has that fear is what's one thing that she doesn't see? What is she blind to? In most, and I asked that question wrong. Wouldn't you say, would you agree? I should say, would you agree that a lot of those women, because I know some of them, I have a dear friend that's one of them, and she needs to work with you. Wouldn't you say that they're blinded by the fact, like, how can I be so goddamn successful in business and in everything I do and my finances and my investments? How the hell can I be so successful here? And why the hell doesn't that work in my personal life? Wouldn't you say that's a blind spot? Like, but I'm so good at this. Why do men keep running away? Or why do the relationships not last? Because they're bringing that wrong energy over to that. Would you say that's correct or not?
Yes, they're bringing their masculine energy into their relationships. And there is a place for the masculine, get out in the world and do your job. But when it comes to a relationship, you have to go into your feminine, and they have to understand the power of being vulnerable, the power of their femininity. That's where they're lacking, because they think that the power is in being masculine, but not when it comes to relationships.
Listen, I've watched Tony do this on stage at Date with Destiny. He's like, I love a powerful woman, but a powerful feminine woman will rule the world. Like, you can't, like, a man is powerless against a feminine, strong woman. Can we all agree on that, guys? Raise your hand if that's true, right? So, in your hook, I'm not going to just ramble one out unless one comes to my head, but you want to know, what is their biggest pain? You said it and everybody agreed. I might be alone forever. Secondly, I don't know why the hell I'll be alone forever. I think I'm successful, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing that they desire?
True partnership.
Yeah. Intimacy, connection.
Intimacy. Yes.
Okay, let me ask all you strong, powerful women out there. How great is it to be with a man where you can be vulnerable? Let me just ask you a question. You strong, powerful women, who loves the fact that you could be with a man and be vulnerable and know that he's still got your back and he will not let you down and he would die for you and protect you? How does it feel to be in your femininity when you have a man like that, right? Yeah, I see Rukin, right? Like, so.
And Dean, it's just so much more fun, and it's a lot easier. We don't actually believe that, but once the woman understands that there's so much power in being feminine, and she goes there and she allows the men to come and do, she learns how to receive, then she understands that. She's like, oh, this is my true essence. Okay,
so let me ask you a question. And the reason I'm spending so much time with you today, it's not just about what Tanya does. I want to get to the root of it, because I want you to feel, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is what she's sharing with people who need this, right? Put it in the chat. How important is it, right? It's a 10. And I want to tell you, the reason I can talk about this so clearly is because I thank the Lord every day that you are describing my wife. My wife was voted the top top hairstylist in Arizona 10 years in a row. My wife made $200,000 to $300,000 as a hairstylist, and she was 32 years old when I met her, never married, never had children, because my wife was a badass woman in her masculinity, beautiful, who put her little brothers through college, put her sister through college, paid off her parents' house, and she did not have time for him. And if a man came in and didn't make her feel secure, it was just someone to go dates on and have a glass of wine, but you're not getting in. I'm never going to have children. I'm just going to do my thing. And because, thank God that was my wife, or she would have been gobbled up way sooner. And what I know about my wife telling me, because of the training I got, because of the love coaching, and because I wanted to be a better man, she's like, for the first time in my life, the reason I came up with that word vulnerable is because that's what my wife said. You're the first man I could be vulnerable with, that I feel loved and protected. I could be strong, but I could be feminine, and I could be soft, and I can be okay. And I don't just say it, it's not for Instagram. I have the greatest love I ever could have imagined in my life. So the only reason I'm saying I know what you do is because you're speaking to my wife. That's who she was, right? And because she shifted, she's in a different place. Every once in a while, she kind of resorts back. She's like, no, I don't want to go back to that feeling. So all this conversation, I'd love to have this conversation with every single one of you about whatever business or anything you want to do, but it's the same thing no matter what business. We have to ask these questions. We have to get into our heart. We have to fall in love with our client, and we have to say to ourselves, what does this woman, let's name her. How old is she? Is she 42? Like, let's just build an avatar. She's 42 years old?
She's over 35.
Over 35 years old,
Yeah.
has had success in her career in her life, and comes home at night and pours a glass of Chardonnay by herself and says, how can I do all this great shit in my life, and why don't I have a man sitting pouring a drink with me? Is that true?
Yes.
Talk to her. What does she need to hear? When you get that dialed and you think about that woman, that man who needs to eat vegan or needs to find love or sell better, live better, love better, or come eat your pizza at your restaurant, you have to live inside that person's mind. Picture what she's thinking when she has a glass of Chardonnay and she's like, should I binge out on Netflix or should I read the book or should I just get some work done for tomorrow? And not having a man say, put that down and get over here, right? That's what she really wants. So when you live inside that mind, you have to come up with, and I know I'm going long on this, guys, but I really believe that the hook is one of the most important parts of your marketing, right? Because if you live inside her mind and know she doesn't want to be alone, she doesn't want lonely nights, she wants intimacy, she wants a connection, she doesn't even know why it's not working. Tanya, most of them don't know. My wife didn't know.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
So in that
That's
hook,
why I tell, yeah.
Go ahead.
I would like the hook to have something like, there's another way, the feminine energy way.
That won't work.
Because I think
but most,
that won't work.
but no, I'm going to just give you a little. I'm going to give you a little insight. Sell people what they want and give them what they need. They don't want to learn. A strong woman. If you say you need to be more feminine before you have context, what might she say? Put in the chat a strong woman. And if you're a strong woman, it's not working out, and I just said to you, you need to be more feminine. No, thank you. She'd leave. Right? Am I right on this one? Look at all bullshit. Next, what? I am feminine. Right? So, no, look at all this chat coming in. Go to hell. That was a good one. No way. I don't need it. Nope. Amazing. You guys are so freaking awesome. I love this. Trent, I see you laughing, man. Right? Like, this is so good because what you think sometimes, they need more feminine energy. But they just want not to be alone, and they want love. So you have to lead into what they want, because if you sell them what they need, if you said, hey, you strong, powerful women out there, all of you, you need to be more feminine, and you need to realize you're pushing men away because you're so powerful. What the hell is this? I'm not saying you're going to do that. So what I would say is, what I'd say is use the words, and I'm not giving you one today, but I would use the words of, like, you're looking for strong, powerful women. Like, think of like you're going after attention. Strong, amazing, powerful women who at the same time are alone, lonely, and looking for love. Right? Think of, and you guys are getting all the recording of this. Think of through that lens. Like, go back and listen to what you and I are talking about. Because you're really looking for strong, successful women who probably deep in their heart feel like losers because they're doing all this, the money's there, the car's there, the vacations are there, and they have no one to share it with. So the fact is their friends think they're badasses, but deep down when they're home drinking that Chardonnay, they're feeling like a loser. And I don't mean a loser as a bad person, it's just like it's sad, right? So tap into that emotion. Like you got this, but you're missing love, the most important thing in the world. You know, learn the 7 steps to true love, success, power. Like, I even want to say, like, I'm afraid to even say in the headline, you know, get back your femininity, because you saw all the quotes that came in. Like, that's what you're going to give them. That's what they need, and that's what you deliver to the best of your ability. But you got to get them in the door by addressing their pain. Their pain is they don't want to be alone. Their pain is they think it could last forever. The pain is they don't have a partner. They don't have intimacy. Their pleasure is the dream of having that glass of Chardonnay with a man that looks you in the eye. right? To have a baby, to fall in love, or no kids, travel the world, somebody's got your back, someone where you can come home from a day where everybody kissed your ass, and you come home and you want to take care of your man. Like, who am I? My wife literally says that. My wife takes care of me so well, and some days she'll be doing everything for me. And she's like, she jokes. This is the biggest joke, and I'll bring my wife onto one of these inner circles. We'll have a blast. But my wife will come home and literally say, who am I? Like, she loves doing stuff for me, but I love doing stuff for her. But she'll get me something. She'll get me food. She'll pour this. She'll take care of this. She'll do this. She's like, who am I? She's like, thank God you give it back to me, right? She said, I waited my whole life to be this way. And Richie's really saying, I waited my whole life to be this feminine around a man, this vulnerable around a man. So I know I went a little deep on this topic. I know some of you don't need any of this training, but I wanted to talk through it because I hope this sparks you to see, number one, your value. You could change someone's life forever. Like literally forever. And can I tell you something, Tanya? And I want everybody to hear this. While you change somebody else's life, I promise you yours is going to change even more.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I grow every day because I love you guys. I love training. I love teaching. I love helping people go faster. And as I'm talking here now, I want to go home and be a better husband, right? Like, the more you teach, the more you grow, and it's cathartic. You heal some of the old scars. So I promise you, as you teach, all of this is going to come back to you in such a compounding way. So can we all give it up for Tanya in a big way?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so Tanya, I'm going to keep you on because now I'm going to get to more business. I won't get so into the weeds, but I'm going to keep you on because we went a little long, so if I bring somebody else up, it might take that whole time to really understand the context. So I'm going to go a little deeper. Now that you have the hook, you understand, you have to deliver them what they want. Enter that pain. Enter that conversation they're going on. You know this woman. You were that woman. What would have stopped you? That's your hook. That is your subject line in your email. That is the first sentence in the email. That is your page on mastermind.com or whatever platform you use if you create a course, or the headline for your coaching program, right? If they land on a page where you could be a coach, that first thing must identify your ideal client where they go, okay, that's me. What's next? Think about that. That's everything we want to do in marketing. Okay, that's me. What's next? Subject line. Oh, that's me. What's next? Headline. Okay, that's me. What's next? Fill out this application to see if you could be one of my, want to work with me. Okay, what's next? So you got your hook. The next is the story, right? And in that story, everybody's good at the story. Most people start with the story before you hook them, then nobody actually hears it. You got to get them there first, right? If I just started with my son about Billie Eilish, like, what the hell are you talking about? I had to hook something really important to him. You want real love someday, don't you, buddy? I do. You want to get married? Yes. Okay, that was his hook because I know that's important to him. Then he'll listen to my story. You guys hear that? You got to hook them so they say, oh, okay, what's next? If you have, I know you're successful. I know everybody else thinks you're accomplished. But if you're missing love and afraid you'll be alone forever, we need to talk. Right? Oh, okay. Now, this is the way I look at it. Like, oh, okay, Tanya knows me. But the next thing you're thinking is, why should I listen to Tanya? This is how I look at it. Why should I listen to Tanya? And that's where your story would come in, right? Your story would be, you said you went through this. You lived in your masculinity. Is that true?
Yes.
Did you go through a divorce?
Yes.
Was it painful?
Very painful.
Do you love yourself more now?
And then,
oh, sorry,
yes,
go ahead.
Absolutely. No. When I was married, I understood that I was completely in my masculine, that I was competing with my husband, ex-husband. And there was no, because I was so in my masculine, I actually I made him go into his feminine. And then I started complaining because he wasn't doing things.
It's a trap that everybody falls into. And then let's be honest, then you don't want to be intimate with a man that doesn't stand up for himself. Is that true?
No. Yes, absolutely.
And you don't even realize that you helped create the mess that you weren't happy with. Only because I've studied this a lot, I totally understand it. And not getting into any more teaching, And amazing, what Sandra said is true. What a realization. Good for you. Let's give it up for Tanya for being so vulnerable and being honest. So now think about, okay, I got this hook that I said before. It's like you're successful. Everybody else thinks you're a badass, but you're lonely and afraid you'll be alone forever. I want to help you. Or even if, or, you know, that, and they stop. The next thing would be, I know what this is like because it was me. I was successful here, I was successful there, and I didn't realize the things I was doing in the success I had here created my power, and you could even call it like my power femininity or my power something, right? You come up with the words you want to use. And what I didn't realize is that I was pushing away love in my life. I was pushing away and it ended in divorce. I was pushing away other friends and family. And I never correlated the two. It was absent. It was missing. No one ever shared with me. But then I had an epiphany. And then I started taking this course. And then I had this biggest breakthrough of my entire life. And now, this is where I'm at. Now I understand I could be a strong, badass, powerful woman. And I can live into my femininity and get a man to understand and or however words you use. That's your story. That's your story. And then the way I look at it is, guys, and this is everybody, no matter what business you're in, if you stop them and then you tell the story, then they go, oh, that is me. Okay, what was next? Ooh, Tanya's gone through the same shit I went through. And she's on the other side. Damn it. What's next? And what's next is your call to action. I stopped you. Successful, strong woman. Everybody thinks you're happy. You're really not. You're afraid to be alone forever, whatever that is, okay? Stop. Story. Tanya went through a divorce. She didn't realize that she was pushing her man away, that she was in competition, that she became so powerful that she made her husband weak, and then she didn't want to have sex. They didn't have intimacy. They didn't have passion, and it ended the relationship. Then she was alone, wondering what the hell was going on, but then she found this. She found these 7 steps, these 5 steps, this process, this system. Now she's powerful and strong, but she's also feminine. And oh my God, she's going to attract the most amazing person in life. I want that. And then you go into your call to action. Great. I'd love to work with you one-on-one over the next 6 months. We'll meet twice a week. It's XYZ price. This is what we're going to do. This is the outcome. I'm going to coach you personally. I'm going to send you this book that I want you to read first. And all it is 4 payments of XYZ. Then you see how the call to action comes into place where they're like, what's next? Would you please tell me what's next? Because I want in. Right? Whereas most people mess up. They're afraid to ask for the money or tell what they do because you didn't set it up right. Right? This is hook, story, close. That's what I did with my son. It's what I did sharing here. If those of you who are a part of Mastermind or you're part of Project Next, part of Inner Circle, you're here today, you're here on a trial today, you're here. I did that with you because I know I care. Who's glad they're here today? Raise your hand if you're glad you're here today. Honest and truly, who would pay a whole year's worth of Mastermind just to be here today? Right? I'm only saying that and sharing that with you guys because the greatest gift of hook, story, close and getting to say yes, somebody to say yes, is when you know that what you deliver can truly change their life. I know if you guys stay a part of Mastermind and stay a part of this family, I know I'll get the chance to save your life. Maybe it wasn't today. Maybe it's next month. Maybe it's go back into Mastermind and watch an Inner Circle from last month, 2 months ago, 2 years ago. Maybe one of them. I know if you're here, I can impact your life. It's the greatest feeling in the world. It's why I love and push and want you here. That's why I want you to show up. I know some of you are watching live. Thousands of you are going to watch replay. But when you fall in love with what you do, then you'll master the art of marketing and you will never sell again. Everybody, give it up for Tanya.
Dean, can I say something?
Yes, sure.
Can I say something? I'm from Brazil, and I'm in Brazil right now. And then I just feel so blessed for the pandemic, actually, because you guys went online, and that's the only reason that I'm being able to be here with you today.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm feeling so blessed right now. Thank you so much. I never thought I would be picked, and I'm just floating with gratitude, overflowing with gratitude.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Go out and change the world, Tanya. Everybody, give it up for Tanya one more time. All right, guys. Who's glad they showed up today for Inner Circle / Mastermind? All right, so this is what we do every single month, especially those of you that are new. And this is a part of Mastermind now. So wherever you are, know that this is what we do every month, like I said, but no, there's 3 or 4 years worth of these. Today, 1 out of 10. What was the value of today's hour training? And I'm not saying to make myself feel better. I just want to tell you, I try to make sure it's like this every single month. And you have, I don't know, 40 of them, 50 of them that are at your fingertips anytime you want them. And you can go back and say, oh, I don't need mindset today. I need marketing. Oh, no, I want to learn how to scale. No, I want to learn how to overcome obstacles or stress in my life. I promise you, we got one for everyone, one for everything you could possibly imagine. Plus, again, we're adding a new course every month. I just want to remind you guys what you have at your fingertips, because we kind of been doing this a long time, Tony and I, and we know what you need, especially going into a shifting world. And I want to tell you, we're working our tails off. We're taking Mastermind to a whole different level. Yes, of course, you can build your course in there, but the value of what we're going to place in there, the education, the training, is going to be off the charts. Guys, thank you for spending this hour with me in Inner Circle. Don't forget, you'll have the replay, and we can't wait to see you next month. Thanks, everybody.